Hey guys, welcome back to the Matt Newton Football Show. I'm your host Matt, and we're here to talk about Tua Tagovailoa's brand new contract extension. Now, Tua signed a new 4-year extension worth $212.4 million. That averages to about $53 million a year. And people will say, well, the money doesn't change anything, but that's not true. Tua getting a contract that takes up about 20% of the salary cap, that's a big deal. That means he has to play well enough to compensate for the rest of the team that's not necessarily going to be retained because of his contract. So Tua has to play with this increased amount of pressure that comes with being one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And I would expect the Dolphins to not only make the playoffs, but win 1 or 2 playoff games and put themselves in a position to win a Super Bowl. If they don't do that in the next 4 or 5 years when Tua is under contract, then this contract will be a failure, right? This whole tank for Tua experiment that's been going on since 2019 would have been a failure. So what are the Dolphins going to do with this season to justify Tua's contract? And it's not just Tua. Tua's not the only one who's playing on offense, right? He's just one of 11 on the field. But listen, if a guy like Teron Armstead is going to go for bat for Tua, if a guy like Raheem Mostert is going to go to bat for Tua, Tyreek Hill has been going to bat for Tua ever since he's become a Miami Dolphins, talking about how accurate Tua is and how he throws a very catchable ball. If all these things are true, and all of his teammates are behind him, and they all were pulling for him to be successful, and Mike McDaniel is getting on his phone on the plane and talking to him with the iPhone and FaceTiming in order to tell Tua exactly how much he loves him and appreciates him and can't wait to work with him, if all these things are true, Tua has to perform. I mean, what else does he really need? Again, aside from a brick wall of the offensive line, Tua has every single thing he should need to be successful as an NFL quarterback. So he just has to go out there and perform. You don't have to worry about a contract. That's not on your mind. You don't have to worry about your skill position players. They're all in place. You might have to worry about your interior offensive line a little bit. But again, you're paid $53 million. You are supposed to compensate for those teammates' shortcomings. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm completely fascinated by this contract. I thought that it was a little bit premature. They could have waited another year just to see if Tua can finish another 17-game season before shelling out that kind of dough. But the Dolphins obviously felt differently. And for Tua and his family, I applaud them. I feel happy for them. Great. But in terms of the Miami Dolphins, this is a very critical season for them. The Dolphins have to be able to win a playoff game. It's been since 2000 since the Dolphins won a playoff game. 2000 since the Dolphins won a playoff game. This is 24 years later, and we're still trying to figure out if the Dolphins can win a playoff game. And there's some people who believe the Dolphins may not even make the playoff this season. Can you imagine that? Some people believe they won't even be one of the top 7 teams in the AFC. So Tua has to be able to lift this team, do what he has to do, have a phenomenal season, throw for 5,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns. This is what Tua would need to do in order to prop this team up and get them into a position to make a Super Bowl. So the Dolphins have to make progress this season, and it has to be in the postseason. Tua has to stay healthy again for 17 games. No more Mike White or Skylar Thompson in the game. And the Tua has to be able to prop this team up with his spectacular play from the pocket, and not just against the also-rans of the NFL, right? Not just the dregs of the NFL. He has to do it against the better teams in the NFL, the playoff teams in the NFL, the best teams in the conference especially. He has to elevate his play. That's just it. And maybe the Dolphins aren't necessarily paying for past performances. Maybe they're paying for future performances. Maybe they're thinking that Tua is going to grow, and not just his game, but also his statistics. And, they're paying for what they expect him to be in year 5 or really year 3 with Mike McDaniel, but year 5 as a Dolphin, they expect him to take another jump in terms of his progress. So we'll see. Maybe that's what the Dolphins are betting on. But Tua has to perform. The team that supports him so much in the press conferences and everything, they have to perform. And they all have to help Tua so that Tua can do his job, and then they can get this team into the postseason and have success once they get there. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about Tua's contract in the comments section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button to get all the latest content. And hit the notification bell to get notifications to all your devices from the Matt Newton Football Show.